Hello. Thank you for joining me. Conor McGregor's most notable skill is his ability to deliver sharp and devastating counterpunches like no other. In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the techniques, the psychology, all the little interactions, and slowly paint a picture of why it turned out the way it did. Why Conor's left is such a monster. Number 1. Ivan. This is definitely a KO we've all seen from Conor. And with such a clean counter, it foreshadowed quite a bit of how most of Conor's future fights would turn out. In this clip, Ivan is observing Conor's next move and Conor picks up on it. Watch as Conor taps Ivan's left hand with his right. He's using that to gauge his distance while keeping Ivan's hand preoccupied. It also works as subtle misdirection, a subtle distraction, briefly pulling Ivan's attention away from Conor. On the second tap, he feels the timing and distance and throws a completely undetected, untelegraphed punch. Paired with the subtle misdirection, and just the human eye's poor ability to gauge depth straight on, Conor's flawless technique hit Ivan's face completely undetected. Conor taps the left again, and with more body, Ivan reacts, but the second untelegraphed punch hits him clean. After eating 2 of the same strikes, Ivan is now feeling the pressure. The pressure has him react to Conor's feinted hand tap because he now associates it with the untelegraphed punch. Conor is in the zone now. He picks up on Ivan overreacting, trying to find a solution to his untelegraphed punch. He feints the hand tap, sees Ivan lower his stance, and instantly throws a knee. Knee lands clean. Conor pushes him back, Ivan pushes off the cage, and throws a wider left roundhouse, with a sense of panic, hoping it would land. But I'm sure he too knew it would not. That sense of panic is still in momentum, and before it dies, Conor uses it against Ivan with one simple move. He taunts Ivan's sloppy kick. Normally, I'm sure Ivan would have realized the taunt was baiting him. But the pressure of taking 3 blows consecutively with no resistance, paired with an overreacted kick that completely missed, that one simple raise of the hand from Conor, signifying what the hell was that, had Ivan snap. Ivan attempted a feint, but Conor read it and tapped Ivan's left, using it to gauge the distance while he saw Ivan coming in. And in that moment, Conor snapped to the right, lowered his stance, and exploded a left counter against Ivan's momentum. Devastating. Number 2. Aldo. Aldo is a beast. Unquestionably a monster, and for that reason, it's still hard for people to believe he lost. But he did. And if you consider the psychological torture he endured up until the fight, it was nothing like he has ever experienced in the UFC. What Chael Sonnen did to Anderson Silva didn't even come close to the psychological damage Conor inflicted on Aldo. Coming into that fight, Aldo was a different man, and against a high-level counterpuncher who reads reactions, the emotional, stifled, tense Aldo throughout the chemicals of fear and stress was simply an easy read. Let's now break down that knockout. First thing we notice, Conor is nimble on the balls of his feet, quickly reaching out his right hand to gauge the distance. Then, as Aldo advances, Conor shifts back, holds position and smiles as a taunt, quickly following the taunt with a left cross. It almost looks like Aldo's head movement dodged the punch, but it didn't. It lands clean on Aldo's mouth, to which Aldo tries to follow back with 2 left hooks. Conor ducks and blocks the first one with his right hand, and the second hook hits the air. You can truly feel the tension in Aldo's body. Conor shifts back into position, reaches his right hand forward to gauge the distance while smiling as a taunt. After that quick subtle taunt, then throws a side kick to Aldo's thigh, pushing him back a bit. These first few exchanges have been completely going in Conor's way thus far, and the already pressured Aldo feels a need to do something. He knows Conor is expecting the right, as Conor proclaimed it out loud, and so he doesn't throw a right. Aldo feints a left, then feints a bigger right, winding up for a big left, but it was too late. He stepped in too deep. There was no going back off the momentum. He tried tricking Conor with a right feint into a left hand, but the moment he threw it, it triggered Conor's reticular activation system to throw a counter instantaneously, and there was no dodging it. Aldo's left hand landed, but it did not matter. The left counter shot was too clean to the chin. Regardless of the hand Aldo wished to strike with, he effectively used all of his power and Conor's speed against himself, and the lights just went out. Number 3. Eddie. In this fight, Conor felt no threat from Eddie Alvarez. He fundamentally believed Chad Mendes was a way better fighter, and with all of the reference experience he had versus wrestlers with a bit of boxing, he felt like he already went through the worst, and the rest was just going to be easy. He had next to no trash talk overall. For the most part, he was pretty quiet and exuded an absolute certainty in himself, absolute confidence in himself before and during the fight. As a result, the fight went exactly as Conor believed it would. Eddie would eat punches throughout the fight and basically was helpless. With all the work Conor did with Dylan Dennis, even wrestling Conor seemed futile. He just kept getting poked and pressured. And every time Eddie's shorter reach would try to retaliate, it would not matter if the punch had a follow-up. Eddie's stiffness telegraphed every action before it happened, and as a result, it was just easy for Conor to react and counter against, especially considering his reach advantage. One thing I want to note